Welcome back. If you're just joining us today, it's all about the woman whose passion is the sea. PS Nancy Karigithu, a mother, a wife, and a career woman. I wondered, how does she balance all this?
You let some things go. You have to. There's a lot of things you have to balance. For example, I remember when I was young, my kids asking me, "Mom, do you have friends?" because you have children, they didn't go to boarding school, you're with them home, and therefore over weekends I want to spend time with them because we want to impact on them. And therefore let me start. I mean, it's easier when you're coming when you're working in the government, because then you can pack the job at maybe 5 o'clock and go home and be with them. When I was in private practice, it struck me that it's not the same. It's different, because my male colleagues, the setup of practice is this: when you wake up in the morning, you go to the office, pick your files, and go to court. Particularly if you are a litigation lawyer like I was. Yeah. And the court runs every day, 5 days a week, except for short vacations. When you're not in court, you have to prepare the case, the file. You have to read, you have to do your research, you have to do drafting. And even if you have assistants, you are responsible. Yeah. So whatever they do, you have to supervise and present the right format. If you're going to create a name and you're not going to aggravate the judge and all that. So what lawyers will do is you go to court, then you come in the evening, the male lawyers. Then they put in hours, because there is a wife at home.
Yes.
Looking after the children.
Yeah.
Looking after the home front. But now I am the wife. And I can't get away. So I have to plan. I have to plan myself to be able to do it all. So you realize you have to depend a lot on others. It became a habit. Then I would wake up earlier than everybody else and put in, before I have to take the kids to school, I have to put in not 1 hour, even more.
And at what point did you find time for yourself?
That's the point I'm making now. You have to make some sacrifices.
Okay.
My children knew that if I'm not there, my image is there in the manager we have. But then above all, I had very, very good support from my mom.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
My husband's mom, coming from Mombasa. She said she would never let me miss a day of work. For that, I'm very, very grateful. She says, "No, I'm here." So if I don't have house help, she would always step in as long as we work that. But then let me also say that I married a very good man who was ready to support me.
We talk of Maritime, her office, and how she materialized her ideas and incentives.
The maritime sector actually does make the world move. Without maritime, then the world as we know it would be very different. Yeah. Because it's international trade. Yeah. Comes through shipping. Yeah. And if there is no shipping, then of course it means that the way we understand it, food, energy,
prices would skyrocket. It would be a bit messy. Yes.
The world would be very different.
Yeah.
Even the food, beef from Argentina to Africa, milk from Holland. Yeah. It's the maritime sector or the shipping, that maritime transport, that really moves world trade. But not a lot of people know it. So therefore IMO and the UN created one day in the year to focus on making people understand how shipping affects the world. That's how we have World Maritime Day on the 3rd Thursday of September. One of my biggest aspirations, or what I really hoped to be able to do, is to be able to rescue and amend that situation. But we all had different ideas maybe in the sector, but having been a consultant, having done it for others. For example, Tanzania, because we'd gone in as IMO and come up with the necessary legal instruments that they were then able, for them they avoided that fate then. So I knew, or I had an idea of what I could do, of what I could push through. Let me not say, because it's not my singular effort. Okay, but I knew what I would push through. But then I also had a network of people I'd been working with in the consultancy job, who I could call for help and for technical advice because there are some issues I didn't understand. I'm a lawyer, and there are some technical issues in terms of interpreting conventions that I would always have a partner in during my missions, because we always used to be paired twice, the technical advisor and me as the legal advisor. So I had that network of fallback, and sometime during my practice we had teamed up with a team of consultants, mostly from South Africa, and we'd formed a firm that we used to work in the region for, in terms of private consultancy. So I knew I had that backup, and therefore I was able to come in, and that was my principal motivation to say, I think I can do this. And I think I have the necessary, circle of professional friends that can help me, even within the IMO. And therefore we came in, and one of the biggest drawbacks was to amend the legislation. Because how do you prove that you can implement what gives quality to the human element in ship safety, which is training and certification, unless you've got the national legal framework? And therefore we started by drafting and helping push legislation through Parliament in a climate where people don't understand, So you're trying to carry partners, create partners and carry them with you to support you, and we were able to change the law and then submit the documents that IMO needed to be able to, as it were, they call it the white list, to say that Kenya is now complying. So it called for a lot of patience, a lot of resilience, and a lot of not giving up. Being able to accept, today I didn't manage, but tomorrow is another day.
I'll try again
in a different way. Yeah.
She attributes her success to the support of her family and greatly lives by the quote, "The best career decision a woman would ever make is to marry a supportive partner." On that note, let's take a look at the Boss Lady Quote of the Day. Boss Lady Quote of the Day. When life seems hard, the courageous do not lie down and accept defeat. Instead, they are all the more determined to struggle for a better future. This quote is by Queen Elizabeth II. A piece of advice.
You can be better every day, but if you accept who you are, then that's mediocre. Because you can always be a better version of who you are. There's always room. And that's what I tell even my teams. They'll tell you, don't get comfortable with where you are, because you don't know how long you have. When they are younger, well, I'm older than them, but I had an opportunity to tell them the other day, there's a long future in front of you. What can you do better? What better version of you can you create today? Don't get satisfied with wherever you are, because even God knows He created something good, and you can be a better model of the person you are.